So the other rounds you have are, again, in a cartridge, but this is called canister shot. It's a very thin container of tin in which would be held musket balls or small iron balls, generally musket ball sized balls of lead. And exactly like a shotgun, it would burst open, and it's really effective against infantry. While it's not necessarily going to kill, it'll certainly maim. And here's here's a cutaway example of what that would look like inside. Now this is the size. This is rice in here. This is not actual powder. We're using aluminum foil, but this is the size of the round we're putting in this gun. This is a 6-pounder. We're only going to put in 5 ounces. In the 18th century, if you wanted to send this ball at its maximum capacity, you would have to put in 2 pounds of powder, because it would be a third of the weight of the shot. Now, even with a fraction of that amount, when you hear it go off, you'll be amazed at how loud artillery actually is. You've also got things like chain shot, which are very effective against shipping. Smash right into the rigging and the masts and the sails, combining words. And the same thing with my 1905 dumbbell there. Depending on what you had, but the same idea. It's really against naval use. You don't want to use it against people. This gun, man the piece. While I'm having them come over here, I will inform you that this gun, in the 18th century, and I guess even today, if you loaded it with a 6-pound ball and 2 pounds of powder, the ball would travel a maximum range of 1.66 miles. Everybody has this idea that these things, because it's old, that it's a little toy. But I assure you the British did not conquer 25% of the world with little toys. Now, we're not going to fire a ball out of there, just powder. But it is a smooth bore, so at that range, I'm not actually going to hit anything. But it can travel that distance. So what they've done is remove the safety implements in the front. The tompion in the front to keep the barrel clear, and the lead apron in the back to cover the vent hole. So the first command is Alan has a thumb stall, and the thumb stall will cover the vent hole. Thumb vent, which stays on through the entirety of the process. Search your piece. The motor goes in with what's called a worm or a wad hook, and it cleans out any solid debris from the gun. You will excuse me one moment while I go and do the sponging. Now the sponge is a lamb's wool head dampened so that we can extinguish any sparks or embers. The thumb remains on the vent while the sponge is withdrawn, so it creates a vacuum. Oxygen, because a vacuum has no oxygen, flame and sparks cannot exist in there, and this really makes sure that any residual heat from the previous round is absolutely gone. Sponge. Search. Did you all hear that? That was the sound of the air rushing back there. Sponge. Handle cartridge. See, the person who has the sponge also flips it around and is the rammer. Now we're going to handle the cartridge here. Prime. Brand new gloves, they're quite nice. Now that I've thrown the round to the absolute breech of the gun, and Alan then picks it with a copper or brass pick so there's no sparks because it's an iron gun, and primes it. We use a bar straw, but in the 18th century they would have used paper, reed, goose feathers, and the Hessians even used lead at times. And it's lined with powder so that you have a connection from the outside to the inside. We primed?
Prime.
All right, next two commands are make ready and fire. Make ready, cover your ears, open your mouth a little bit. This will be extraordinarily loud. And for fire, obviously it's fire. Make ready. Fire! Search! Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Nice.